An El Paso teacher who's also an assistant football coach is arrested on drug charges tonight, and the students at his school are just stunned by the news. Good evening, I'm Dan O'Rourke.
And I'm Stefania Jimenez. Police stopped El Dorado High School teacher Darius Ellison yesterday afternoon for several traffic violations in far east El Paso. When officers took a closer look, they found 39 bundles of marijuana in the back seat of Ellison's car. Police discovered an additional 10 bundles of pot at his home in the 14,000 block of Pacific Point. In all, police say that Ellison had nearly 60 pounds of marijuana. One El Dorado High School student we spoke with today says she's shocked by the news.
It's really disappointing and kind of a bad example because teachers are supposed to be the example, they're supposed to be the leaders, and students are supposed to be able to trust in them and learn from them. I say that I hope the people of El Paso don't judge El Dorado based on this incident. I mean, I know it's really bad and what happened, but the whole staff of El Dorado and the students and the school itself isn't responsible for what one person decides to do in their own personal life.
We've learned that Ellison played cornerback on the UCHEP football team from 1995 to 98. Tonight he's charged with marijuana possession. Court records show that he bonded out of El Paso County Jail early this morning. The Socorro Independent School District has put Ellison on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. We'll continue to follow the story and give you updates.
The country's about to pay more attention to what El Pasoans already know, especially in a drought. Rule 1 to survival is to conserve water and produce fresh water. El Paso's desalination water plant on Montana produces 27 million gallons of fresh water every day. It's groundwater, purified until salts and other impurities are gone. Today, the United States Secretary of the Interior, Ken Salazar, toured the plant.
It's a very scarce water supply that we have, and so how we manage water supply as we are doing here through this desalination plant has a benefit in both Mexico and in the United States.
Secretary Salazar made this trip knowing that El Paso's desalination plant is a model for what other parts of the country can do and might have to do in the future.
If you want to be a firefighter, this should be music to your ears. Turns out New Mexico is looking for firefighters. If this coming fire season is anything like last year's, the Gila National Forest wants to be ready. They want firefighters to work on a call when needed basis. So if you're interested, you'll need to attend one of 2 informational meetings. You'll find all the details you need on our website, ktsm.com. Many jobless New Mexicans are finding out that their unemployment benefits are running out. The state's extended benefits ran out December 31st. Jobless people with extended benefit claims before December 31st will get unemployment payments until January 28th as part of a phase-out period.
Traffic at one of El Paso's busiest intersections is about to get even worse. Here's a live TxDOT picture tonight of Montwood and Zaragoza. Today, construction began on 2 overpasses of the intersections of Montwood, Zaragoza, and Joe Battle. It's going to be called the Zaragoza Direct Connector. For the next 2 years, patience will be your virtue.
It's an inconvenience for all of us, but on the long run, I think it's going to be something very positive for El Paso.
You can expect lane closures by Friday night when construction is done in about 2014. You won't have to stop at traffic lights anymore. Elevated ramps will come over and off Loop 375 to keep the traffic moving.
A Texas 8th grader is dead after being shot by police. It happened at a school in Brownsville. Police arrived after students said 15-year-old Jamie Gonzalez showed off a gun that he brought to school. Officers found him in a hallway and opened fire after they said he engaged them. Police would not be any more specific. The student's weapon turned out to be a pellet gun. The school was immediately placed on lockdown, but no other injuries were reported.
Despite what you might have heard or thought, Texas Governor Perry is still in the presidential race. He finished 5th out of the 7 candidates in last night's Iowa GOP caucuses. Said he'd have to reassess the campaign, but this morning Mr. Perry woke up and said, sure, he still wants to be president.
We're going to give the people of South Carolina, New Hampshire, America a choice in this election, and that's what this process is all about. So I look forward to continue on the trail.
In that Iowa caucus, Mitt Romney and former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum enjoyed a photo finish. Both received more than 30,000 votes, but Mr. Romney won by 8 votes. You can argue for or against the death penalty in the United States. Here's what the numbers say. There were fewer executions in the country this year than in any year since 1976. That's the year the Supreme Court reinstated capital punishment. Texas still leads the U.S. in death row executions, 13 of them last year. And at the same time, some states, including New Mexico, have recently abolished the death penalty.
An Alamogordo man could spend the next 18 years in prison for the death of a 7-month-old baby. 29-year-old Bobby Hernandez pled guilty to child abuse resulting in death. Otero County prosecutors say that Hernandez slammed the baby on the floor because he wouldn't stop crying. Baby Alex died in El Paso after being flown to University Medical Center back in 2009. Las Cruces police are making another public appeal to find this missing baby. Nevaeh Jauregui was last seen with her mother on December 26th and may still be in danger. Police are looking for the mother, Nicole Jauregui, and her boyfriend, Jose Mendez. They're both charged with child abuse after little Nevaeh tested positive for drugs. If you know of their whereabouts, Las Cruces police want to hear from you.
And the Las Cruces police would like your help solving a drive-by shooting. This morning on Highway 70 near the Ricandana Boulevard exit, they say people in one car started firing shots at another car. Fortunately, nobody's hurt. Las Cruces police are hoping a phone tip can lead to some arrests. No help needed in the search for this suspect. El Pasoan Elizabeth Bernal was wanted for writing quite a few hot checks. But this morning, she decided she'd walk into the county jail and say, "Here I am." Sheriff's deputies booked her right there and then.
Supporters say he's innocent, and today they rallied for Daniel Villegas, who's celebrating his birthday. The El Paso man is serving a life sentence for a double murder. He claims a detective bullied him into making a confession. Villegas appealed for a retrial, but a judge has yet to make a decision on that.
Today's his 35th birthday and his 17th birthday behind bars. He was really hoping, to be out here with us celebrating his birthday. So we figured this was the next best thing we could do for him.
Having a lot of problems with district attorney's office cooperating with us. We've gotten them a lot of proof and they just refuse to listen to us.
No date's been set for the judge to rule on a possible retrial for Villegas.
Here's an update on the stabbing attack against El Paso boxer David Rodriguez. Rodriguez tells News Channel 9 he was with friends outside a pizza restaurant this week up in Arizona when a group of other men attacked. He got a horrible cut along his jawline that needed more than 100 stitches to close. Eyewitnesses have come forward to say Rodriguez taunted 3 men with racial slurs shortly before the knife attack. We spoke again today with the heavyweight fighter. Here's what he says. Quote, "I have no ill feelings toward any race or religion. When men get ready to fight, we let our mouths run and we say things we do not mean." Crime investigation continues. The Arizona police have not made any arrests just yet as prize fighter David Rodriguez begins his recovery.
A high-speed chase by El Paso County Sheriff's deputies ended with an arrest and a drug bust. Investigators say they tried to stop Francisco Santibanez overnight for not signaling a lane change on I-10 near Joe Battle. After a chase, Santibanez eventually stopped. Deputies arrested him and found 8 bundles of cocaine in his car.
Fort Bliss honored a fallen soldier today, Private Jalfred D. Vaquerano, who died from combat injuries in Afghanistan. News Channel 9's Jacqueline Crea attended a somber but beautiful ceremony.
This video is a tribute from Private Jalfred Vaquerano's fiancée. They had planned to marry in August. Vaquerano was from Apopka, Florida, and died December 13th when his unit took small arms fire from the enemy. He was just 20 years old and was looking forward to marrying his longtime love, Katie. Today's memorial service gave fellow soldiers a chance to say goodbye. One of them was Major General Dana Pittard.
PFC Vaquerano was a very good soldier. He was a soldier that was very striking. I remember when he got on the plane to Afghanistan, and I shook his hand. I think it was his eyes that were most striking. In fact, his nickname was Pretty Eyes.
General Pittard wants to remind us that a soldier's life serves our freedom.
But the sacrifice of soldiers like PFC Vaquerano We must honor that sacrifice and remember at all times that as we enjoy the freedoms and what's happening here in America, there's somebody out there who's protecting our interests and making sure that we can live free.
Jacqueline Correa, News Channel 9.
Private Vaccarano joined the Army just about this time last year. He was decorated with the National Defense Service Medal and the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. He's survived by his fiancée, also his proud mother, father, brother, and sister.
Well, we all hate those long lines at the airport, and tonight we're hearing that the government is now working to reduce those wait times. The government is now ordering the TSA to find faster ways to screen military members and possibly their families. Passengers we spoke with say that's good news for everyone.
I think whatever they can do for our service people, men or women, to get them home quicker, they should do.
It's really a convenience for everyone. We move faster.
When the screening technique is developed, it will only apply to military folks in uniform and on official orders. It could be extended to their families, but that's up to the TSA now.
Won't bother you to know that you'll have a couple of extra days to file your federal income tax return this year. The IRS has postponed the usual April 15th date back to April 17th. You see, this year April 15th falls on a Sunday. You can't possibly mail a return on a Sunday. And then Monday the 16th is Emancipation Day in Washington, D.C., and the IRS is going to take that day off.
It could be months before we know how much money the Sun Bowl brought to El Paso. As we told you last night, local hotels say they didn't see too much business from the big bowl game, and attendance was down by 6,000 people this year. Sun Bowl leaders say it could be March before we know the real economic impact. Well, we all know this. Skiing is great fun, great exercise, and good for a state's economy. Well, New Mexico Governor Susana Martinez probably had all three factors in mind by naming January Learn a Winter Sport Month in the Land of Enchantment. Here's a live webcam picture from Ruidoso, New Mexico. New Mexico has 8 alpine resorts and 3 destinations just for cross-country skiing, which should really get you in shape for 2012. And if you're just a beginner, just about every ski slope offers lessons. New Mexico wants to keep your entertainment dollars in state instead of going someplace else. Chuck?
Well, if you can believe it, we had a very weak cold front move through early this morning. No impact today. Looks like not much of an impact tomorrow. We'll take a look at some numbers that will be above average for a while, plus a cold front a little later in a week's worth of weather. That's all coming up.